This week we're going to talk about oblique bends. We did some basic bending last week. This week an oblique bend is essentially where we play one note and then we bend another note at the same time to get kind of a pedal steel sound. And usually the notes at some point actually make up parts of a chord. That's kind of what, so you have these bits where they're suspended and they want to go someplace. And then they actually make the complete sonority or the complete sound. And that's actually what makes them so nice. You can combine them, you know, with the volume knob if you want to. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to talk about the basics. Give you a couple basic licks. I'm not going to show everything that's in the little intro bit because that's quite a bit of stuff. I use these a lot, not just in country playing, but in blues and rock. They're just kind of a neat sound, and you can do them, they don't have to be country sounding per se. You do minor sounds with them, you can do all kinds of stuff. So here we go, oblique bends. So the first one is, we're going to do the easiest one known to man. We're going to do it in the key of E here, so that the strings are a little bit easier to play. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our pinky barring on the first two strings at the 12th fret. And then our third finger is going to be on the 11th fret on the third string. So the end result is we want an E chord here, all right? So we have these two notes. This is the root and the fifth of the E. And then this note here is the second note of the E major scale. We're going to bend it up to the third, which would give us our major triad. All right, so we can, all right, and the trick here, if you got a guitar like a Strat or something with a Floyd Rose, where the bridge floats, this isn't going to stay in tune very well. So these are the kinds of things you generally tend to do. There's a reason why you see a lot of people do them on Telecasters, but anything with like a fixed bridge, I probably should have said that at the beginning. Anyway, so I'm playing the first two strings, and then I bend the third string up, and it's a whole step. Now the trick with these is you have to make sure that you're actually doing it in tune. Right, so maybe play the chord first. Right, so 12th fret on the first two strings, 13th fret here, and then do the bend and just make sure it's up to pitch. Right, all that stuff is just out of like E major pentatonic, which hopefully if you're watching this you know that scale already. And you can maybe end it right there, right, because this is an E chord. The next thing I can do in that position, right, is I'm going to keep my pinky on the first string, and I put my third finger on the second string on the 12th fret. All right, and I can bend it up. Now in the E, this takes the fifth note of the chord up to the sixth, which we don't really, it wants to resolve that way. So usually if I'm playing this, a lot of times I'll pre-bend this and bend it down. Right? You just want to make sure as you do these things, the bending string moves independently of this. You don't want to go and pull it out all out of tune like that, right? So usually this one, you know, I'll usually try and resolve it to the next one down. Now, here's the thing. If we're playing an A, that works there. So if I move this idea down to E, which would be the 5th fret on the second string, and I got my pinky on the 7th fret on the first string, and my third finger is going to be on the 7th fret on the second string. If you notice, when I do most of these bends, they're with my third finger, and at least my second finger is on the same string, kind of supporting it. I mean, I guess I could do it. It's kind of hard to do with the first finger, but And I'm playing on 11s on this guitar, so your mileage may vary on how much force you have to use to actually get this to sound good. All right, so that's the first batch out of that E major pentatonic scale here, and we're just building chords here. A harder one, so for the more advanced players, we take this E sound, we can, on the 14th fret, on the 4th and 5th strings, you put your 3rd and 4th fingers, and you can take your 1st finger on the 11th fret, and then do that 1st finger bend all the way up a whole step here. This one is kind of definitely not for the beginners. It takes a little bit of oomph, but it's a good thing to work towards. Kind of a handy deal. I like using that one a lot. So if we're still looking at this E shape here, this is one of my favorites. I use this a lot, especially at the end of tunes. And what it is, I've got my 12th fret on the 1st and 2nd strings, which is the 5th, the root and the 5th of the E chord. And I'm taking the 3rd, which is on the 13th fret, 3rd string, bending it a half step before I do anything, and then resolving it. That complete lick is something I like to play a lot. And what that is there's no oblique bend here, it's just actually 2 parallel bends. So I'm on the 16th fret on the 1st and 3rd strings, and I'm using these 2 fingers. This is really important because if I do that, I get all of this bending power from back here. Right, what's happening is that this is like the E major chord in this position, like the D shape. E right here, so I've got the 3rd and the 5th of the E chord here. And when I do that bend, it naturally takes the 3rd up to the 4th. It just goes up a half step on that string. And then I do a whole step on that string. And it just because of the string tension or however it's laid out, it just works nicely that way. I don't think too much about it. So I can either start there and go up and down, or pre-bend it, or even turn the volume off. You know, I get a nice kind of pedal steel thing just by swelling the volume control. Anyway, so I'll do that bend, and then I'll come down here to the 14th fret, which gives us the 2nd and the 4th of the scale, which means that that's not a resolving point. Then we come down to here to the E, and I could do that, or I could go, or that guy there.